Okay, today on the bench we've got my Axial Scx6. This is obviously a trail truck, a crawler. It's quite a large one. I know it's hard to see in this video the size, but it is quite a large vehicle. It's very heavy. It's very hard to move around with one hand. 3S vehicle, solid axles front and rear. It is locked diff from the factory, locked in the front, locked in the rear. It does have a 2-speed transmission that you can change from high gear to low gear on the remote. The high gear in this is actually quite fast. For a trail truck, it gets along quite well. And the low gear is quite low. It's really good for crawling. The body itself, it is kind of a thin Lexan. It can crack quite easy. There is clear windows on this, and there is a driver figure and an interior in it. Lots of hard plastic details, wipers on the grill in the front. It does have lights from the factory. You can see there is a sticker over here, but there is a light bucket behind it with lights in it, and they do shine through that. It kind of looks pretty cool. Hard plastic bumper. It's got hard fenders. You got your clips here to hold the bonnet open like they do on the real one. It doesn't actually open from here. It's just for looks. Do have hard plastic mirrors. They do have reflectors in it. Hard plastic door handles, side steps. Same at the back. Fender covers there. Faux fuel tank. Your lights at the back, like I said, that's got LEDs in the rear as well. No spare tyre on this, which is a good thing because it would be very heavy with a spare tyre. This truck weighs quite a lot. It's got a fair bit of articulation. Huge tyres, like there's the size of my hand. They're a lot bigger than you think they are. They are quite soft, these tyres. On a side hill they do roll a fair bit, but they also conform quite well to rocks and everything. Not the best tyres you've ever got on a crawler, but it is just the stock ones that come from the factory. No crawlers really come with the ultimate tyres from the factory. They just come with something to get you going. Most people change it out themselves. I do run this on my Spectrum DX5 Rugged. I do use Spectrum smart batteries in this as well. I just run it on the 3S, 5000 milliamps. Plenty of power on 3S. I'll try and pop the body off. It's going to be quite hard. Under here, I've already taken the body pins out, but as you can see on the top, there is no body pins. That's because they've done this thing. They've been doing these on Axial vehicles for a while. There's a body pin that normally just goes in just here, and there's a little pin. If I pop it up, so you can see, that drops down through that. Pin goes in there and that holds it. It's got one of them on each side at the front. Same thing at the rear. There's a little pin that goes in and holds it. So I have popped the pins out. It's hard to get this body off in general because there is inner fenders, which I'll show you soon. The inner fenders, they kind of lock into the body, and it's not the easiest body in the world to get off. Even when it's not in a shelf with limited clearance, it's not the easiest body, but in the shelf it makes it even more of a challenge, especially with one hand and being such a heavy body. So I'll just take it off here now. Just bear with me. I'll just slide it in over there for now. This is the inside of it. As you can see, Spectrum brushless, and it is a censored motor in this, which is quite cool for Spectrum. They don't normally have too many censored motors. The transmission here, it's quite large. It's very hard to tell on video. Things never look as big as you think on a video, but if you can see my hand next to this, that motor, there's my fist, it's a fairly big motor. It's quite a big transmission. This servo you can see back here, that's the servo for the shifting, so that will shift your high and low gears on this. On the chassis itself, there's a motor tray here and a battery tray here and a battery tray here. They are fully adjustable for different size batteries. There is also is another tray there. Now, you don't run this vehicle on 2 batteries at the same time. You can, but you would have to run a Y harness. not to run it in 6S, to just run them so you get more capacity and a longer run time, but you get quite a long run time on this with the single battery. So if you were going out for a long time, what you'd do is you'd put a 3S here and a 3S here and just connect one of them, and as the battery gets flat, just swap it to the other side, and that keeps it more balanced. It's got weight on both sides of the vehicle. Or you could always just put one on the rear here by itself, or you can just run them one on either side or one on the left hand side and leave the other side empty. You can really do whatever you want. At the front here, if I just spin it around, it does have a larger scale servo. It's not the strongest servo. It can run 7.4 volts, which is what I am running in it. It's under here. It's not a 5th scale. You can change it out and put a 5th scale servo in it, which I will do eventually. Your ESC is under this faux motor cover, which is also where your receiver is. Like I said, it is a brushless and it is a censored ESC. You can see down here, here's your steering link, quite big, nearly the size of my finger. They're quite thick, solid metal. There's your diffs, rather large size as well. If I tip the truck on its side, you can see the underneath here. Quite large links all around, all metal links. Like I said, there's my finger, rather large. Drive shafts in here, they are plastic in the middle. They do have metal balls in them, front and rear. For a crawler, plenty strong enough. Just roll it back over. You can see the shocks down in here, metal shocks. They do have plastic caps on them, metal body shocks that you can adjust them. It's got the metal rings on it, wind it up and down. Shocks, I don't really have any complaint with the shocks. It's, for a factory shock, quite good. This is such a different vehicle. I do have other crawlers that I can compare it to, 10th scale and stuff. This just, it goes everywhere you want to put it. It's compared to a 10th scale, you need to find bigger things to go over, because I know on the video here you can't really tell how big it is, but it is quite large. I might make another video comparing it to a normal size 1/10 crawler so you can get a bit of an idea, but it is rather large. These are these inner fenders I was talking about, front and rear. So when the body's in there, they do cover up in here and it locks it out, so you don't get as much mud and debris up inside the truck. From here you can kind of see that the ESC is up under there. Without taking the screws out, I can't really show you any more than that, but it is in there. This body, taking it on and off, these, you might want to trim these inner fenders just the tiniest bit, because the body, when you put it back down on here, it gets caught. You have to kind of stretch it out and pop it down. It's not the easiest thing to put in. Once you get used to it and get a bit of a technique, you can do it a bit easier. But yeah, it is a little hard from being, when it's new. Just takes a bit of fiddling around. It's not impossible to do, but it's definitely not the easiest body I've ever put on. This body itself weighs a lot. Like, I don't know how much this thing weighs, but it's a few kilos. I've got crawlers that are almost as heavy as this body. If I flip it over, you can see the inside. There's the wiring loom for the lights front and back. Comes with that factory, and there's your Lexan interior as well with the driver figures. It is quite a substantial body. Like, yeah, I'll make a video comparing it to a normal size 1/10. It's massive. But this is just a quick overview of the SCX6. This is obviously the Jeep JL version in green. I believe it do come, you can get it in a silver version as well. This is obviously the green one. They're licensed BF Goodrich mud terrain tyres. Fairly soft, fairly grippy. I don't mind them. They're fun for what I want to do. It doesn't do extreme crawling, but I've got plenty of other crawlers that do extreme stuff. This is just good to do some crawling in a larger scale, something different. I reckon they'll bring out some more versions of the SCX6. I know they've just released a Dingo, and I think there's some more coming too. Just stay tuned for that. But yeah, this is a quick first look. If there's anything else you want to know about it, let me know in the comments. I will make some more videos. I'll make a video comparing this to a 1/10 so you can see the scale size. And yeah, just let me know in the comments.